Hey, so today I would like to share something with you that I'm reading in my book. It's very interesting and it's about change. I think it's really, it can relate to so many things. And the book is Switch, How to Change Things When Change is Hard by Chip and Dan Heath. I will put the link below the video. And the concept, which is basically the opposite of what we usually do when we want to change something, is instead of focusing on what doesn't work, why it doesn't work, and how to change that, how to find solutions for that, they find the exception, because most of the time, or at least sometimes, it's just an exception, but they find the exception where it works. So it can be, if it's an institution, it's for the few people where it works, when things works correctly. But if it's for you, you can find that on the behavior you have, on the activity you have, on the moments you have where things are great, things are what you want. And you focus on that, and then you try to see why does it work, instead of focusing on what doesn't work and why it doesn't work. And so how I'm going to solve that, I focus on why it works, why, and how I'm going to replicate that. So it's very interesting. And I think that it's not just an idea like that. It's just not a trick, it's much more than that, because basically when we focus on what doesn't work, it takes all the place. It becomes very quickly the only thing we see. And what works, what is already great, tend to disappear because there's just one space. And it's what I say, basically, we are at one stage or at another stage. And if we want to change, if we want to be there, just stop being there and act this way, and everything is going to fit this stage. And it's the same thing for just the thoughts. Instead of focusing on what you don't want, focus on what you want. So instead of trying to find solutions, which basically put you in a state where you focus on what you don't want, just focus on what you want. And then find, instead of, well, the solution is see what works. So it's, and that in turn, that will take all the space, and in a way will eliminate what doesn't work, because there's just, in a way, one space in your mind. You have the choice to look this way or this way. You cannot see this and that in the same time. If it's opposite, you have to make a choice. Turn your head this way or this way. And if you turn your head on the way where things work, then you will develop these aspects, you will develop these results. And so it's really something counterintuitive most of the time, I think, because when there is when we want to change, most of the time it's because we feel, we see, we react to something we don't want. And well, I think that's a dead end. I think that's a trap. The problem is, instead of trying to flee what we don't want, we should focus on what we want and go towards what we want. Change, basically, which shouldn't be made on the base that I don't want that anymore, but on the base of I want that now, because I'm really pleased with that, I'm really motivated by that, I'm really enthusiastic about that. And I think that's really what makes the difference. So it's just something that I'm more and more realizing these days. So I think it has really it can lead to very different things. So I will let you know what it gives for me in the next days or weeks or later, I don't know, but I really think it makes all the change. Your thoughts are just, instead of having negative thoughts, and as I already said, it's been observed that it's been in studies I've read somewhere, it's been said that most of the time you have negative thoughts, but all day long. That's something like 80 or more than 80% of our thoughts are negatives. So it's huge. And if we are focusing on what we want to solve because we don't want that, basically we stay focused on the negative thoughts. So yeah, really, the solution I think is not to find solutions on negative thoughts, on negative things in our life. It's to focus on what we want and go in this direction. And obviously, we are, looking the bright side. It's like if you're looking at, a dark room all day long, trying to find the light, and the other option is to look at the bright side and to look at the sun every day and all day long. It's obviously changed a lot of things. It's by ripple effects. It changed everything else, I think. So I really think it has a huge importance. So let me know what you think of that, and I'll try to keep you posted on what next for me with that. Okay? Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.